becomes the starting two guard, and guess what? They gave him a restricted free agent contract, which meant that Utah had to match any qualifying offer from another team. And the Portland Trailblazers gave him 5 years, $34 million. The next season, Raheem, think about that. He got 5 years, $34 million his second year in the NBA. Blake Griffin, who was the number one pick the same year, was making less money than him a year later. Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
Hey,
you hear your co-host over there, don't you? You hear your co-host over there in the background.
Yeah, I hear you. He's learning.
Yes.
He's learning some stuff he probably never heard before. But isn't that amazing that everybody wants to tell these kids a lot of this stuff is luck. You could get drafted and be getting paid less a couple of years later than a guy that never got drafted.
But you say a lot of it is luck, though. So you have to really be, in order to get in that position, there have to be a lot of luck, and things have to happen in order to position yourself in that place.
Things have to line up. Things have to line up for you, and you have to be the type of person, if you want to play professional basketball, that believes in diligent and hard work. If Jermaine O'Neal goes to the Portland Trailblazers and thinks, I'm a star, they need to play me right now, he would have never made it. He would have been psychologically bent. He wasn't psychologically bent. He kept working. It almost took him 3 years to really get on the court with Portland. But by the time he got to the Indiana Pacers, that's when he took off like a rocket, because he used those Portland years to learn the NBA game, learn the speed of the NBA game, learn how to bang in the post, when to face up, when to bang up. He learned all of that stuff. He was a student of the game. But he waited his turn. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And his hunger grew, because he really wanted to play, but he had a lot of players in front of him that was getting it done.
Right. You don't come in. Let's take a drafted guy like Bam. Bam comes to the Miami Heat. Hassan Whiteside was in Miami already, but Hassan Whiteside got an injury midway through the season around game 30, now Bam has to play. And he's able to show who he is, and was 1 vote away from NBA All-Rookie Team. But he wasn't 1 vote away from NBA All-Rookie Team when the beginning of the season, DNP, did not play. Just sitting over there the whole game watching. You got to learn how to wait your turn in the NBA. So sometimes waiting your turn, maybe I'm a second round guy like Carlos Boozer or Draymond Green. And I got to just wait my turn until someone got injured, someone got traded, and then at that point, that's when you get your chance. Or guy like Jeremy Lin, or somebody retires. But normally when guys retire, they haven't played that much in a 2 or 3 year span. Does that make sense?
It does. Hey, Kevin, we have a question on Facebook Live. Terrell Craddock. He asked this question: what do you guys think about the Big Three League and the JBA League?
The Big Three, I think, is I'm not really familiar with the second league, but I haven't watched it. I have actually watched the Big Three before. What I like about the Big Three is kind of seeing guys that you got to see play in the NBA. It's kind of fun to watch a dude. You're like, man, look at Baron Davis. He can still boogie a little bit. Yeah. Or look at someone like Bonnie Wells. You know what I mean? Who is that? Little Nate. Yeah, little Nate and some of these guys. You just, guys that you actually watched and admired. And you see some of them and you're like, wow, that guy's in really good shape. I'll tell you who amazed me in the Big Three. When I watched Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf last year, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I could not believe that a person could not only take care of their body and their mind for that long, but actually still be that quick, that fast, that explosive at that age. I mean, the guy's like, you 40-something years old out there looking like you 26. I know it's half court basketball, but he looked real good in the half court set. And it takes you back to those years when he played at LSU with Shaq and Stanley Robinson, those guys, when he was Chris Jackson. You know, we remember him as Chris Jackson.
Exactly.
Before he became a Muslim. But I would say I love the big three because it lets you see, okay, I'll get to see Amari Stoudemire play again, or like, you know, Nate Robinson is the guy that you saw in the past. I hope that answered his question.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay. I'm sure he could definitely give us a phone call if you get an opportunity. Give us a phone call, 678-381-1973. We love to have your input. I hope we answered your question, but if any piece or part of it is unanswered, definitely give us a call. Again, 678-381-1973. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I guess the next thing I'll talk about when we're talking about, you know, we talked about the undrafted guys, the guys that get drafted and really don't pan out. Then we talk about the undrafted guys, you know, like the J.J. Barea, Jeremy Lin, the Wesley Matthews, that end up getting, you know, you get a 5-year, $34 million contract your second year. But one of my favorite, you know, players that plays now, and he, you know, is Ishmael Smith.
Gotta mute your phone.
Mute their phone.
Mute your phone, young man. Mute your phone for me. That's your code. Yeah, mute your line for me. Mute your line, sir. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
no, he still didn't do it. He still didn't.
That Ishmael Smith is one of those kids that, you know, he worked his butt off. He played, you know, local kid, North Carolina, came from Concord High School. I mean, from I think he played at one of the Cabarrus, Central Cabarrus, one of those high schools in Concord. He went on to Wake Forest, and while Ish was at Wake, he played with a lot of great players. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 pros on this guy's college team. Wow. You know, James Johnson, who plays for the Miami Heat now, and Al-Farouq Aminu, who's on the Portland Trail Blazers, Jeff Teague, who's on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were all teammates, and Ish was the point guard. Ish didn't shoot it as well in college as he does now, but you're talking about a guy that just refused to quit and outwork people. He was an undrafted guy in 2010, went to the Rio Grande Valley Vipers of the G League, and Ish has literally played in Memphis, Golden State, Orlando, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Oklahoma City, Philly, and New Orleans before Detroit gave him a 3-year deal.
Wow.
Could have quit. Could have said, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of moving. I don't want to play on, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 NBA teams. But he didn't quit, and because of that, he got a really nice deal, you know, in 2016 with the Detroit Pistons. But I say everybody's path is so totally different, and you don't know when it's going to be your turn. And guys that come from overseas can make it. Guys that come from the United States can make it. The biggest thing is, are you willing to put in the work and not let people discourage you from the front offices, the coaching staff, and all of that stuff leading up to the draft? Because you just don't want, I don't like when I see guys, Terry, I know you've seen this, when you're looking at the draft on TV and you see guys that are disappointed on draft night. Yeah. What do you do to work people?
Now, about what you were just talking about, Kev, somebody on the live B app, they're saying something about, and I don't know who this is, there's a player for the Lakers. They got an opportunity to play. He was in his late, I think they say 30s or early 40s, and he'd been in the league.
Yeah, mid-30s. He was a mid-30s guy from the G League.
Yeah.
He was an over 10-year G Leaguer. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they were saying, you know, what about that guy? You know, they're saying he never gave up and he just stayed with it. And most people would have given up after the length of time that he's been in the league or trying to get in the league.
Guys, the way I look at a guy like that, let me give you the breakdown and the split difference in a guy like him and a guy like Ish Smith that I just named. A guy like him is in the G League for over 10 years. Does that make sense? Terry said it earlier. The guy from Virginia Tech that broke records in the CBA, he broke records because he stayed in there so long. Most of the guys like Terry were like, I don't want to go in the CBA that long. I'm either going to take something in the NBA or I'm going to take my talents overseas where I can play basketball for a lucrative income. That guy that played for the Lakers the last game of the year, He just enjoyed basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
He loved basketball. He was not getting paid a lot to play basketball. He was not getting paid a lot to play in the G League. He just loved the game, and I think the Lakers organization rewarded him for that one-time experience on television. It's on television.
Hey, Kevin, let me say this to you, man. Like, and I appreciate you putting it that way. See, my problem was my first experience was playing with Charlotte Hornets, right? I believe that
Right.
had I not had, played 9 games with Charlotte and then got put down in the CBA. But if I started out in the CBA and believed that, hey man, I just need to sharpen my skills up and get to make the NBA, who knows, I might have been there longer. But I had a taste of the big league, and I went from the penthouse to the house, and I was like, man, this was the third, man. I was flying in luxurious private planes, and now all of a sudden we riding buses. That wasn't sitting well with me. It wasn't that I didn't love playing basketball. I just got a taste of the good life, and now I'm like, hey man, this here ain't right. I got to go. So it is amazing when you think about, when you look back, and 2020 hindsight, man. I can tell you, I probably made less money playing overseas in some countries, but I enjoyed it because it was just a love of the sport. Where if my goal was to say, man, I gotta make the NBA stick, then that CBA route would have been the route to go, because if you would have stayed in their face, they would have continued to watch progression. And then also how you get those 10-day call-ups. I remember when I got cut from Charlotte Hornets, it was a couple of days before my contract was guaranteed. They would have owed me another $100,000. When they cut me, well, it saved some money because the other person that came in was getting paid $10,000 for a 10-day. So it was a business decision to make these moves, and I have to pay so much money for somebody you don't feel like you really need.
Right. But you said it best. The way you put it makes so much sense. You had a passion, but you also didn't like going from the big house to the outhouse. But when you're a guy that never sees the penthouse, you never see the big house, like the guy with the Lakers, he just has a passion for basketball. He just loves playing basketball. He's the type of dude that'll go do an industrial technology job or be a computer specialist and then go play for the Legends at night. You have those type of guys. But then you got guys like Ishmael Smith who they have a passion to play, but they're actually moving from team to team, playing for Memphis, Golden State, Orlando, Milwaukee, Phoenix, OKC, Philly. I mean, I remember when Ish went from Philly to New Orleans and then went back to Philly. You know what I mean? You can't even hardly find you a place to stay before they move with you again. But what's the key? He's actually on the private jet. He's actually getting the per diem checks. He never really went back down to the Grand Valley Vipers after he came back up. So you look at, there are different levels of passion for it. But that guy for the Lakers, he's played a long time, but he's not the guy that played a long time and maybe played in the NBA and just had a passion to still play a little bit more, like Gerald Wilkins. So,
No, I just wanted some cereal.
you remember when he played all those years in the NBA?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying, he actually played for the Greensboro Swarm the other year, Dominic Wilkins' nephew. And you remember Damian Wilkins?
Yes.
He played many, many years in the NBA, and then his body was still holding up well, and he went down to play in the G League because he still had a passion to play. But at that point, he played long enough to get decent paychecks and get his pension. That guy that played for the Lakers in that last game, he's not getting a pension. He's playing for the love.
Okay. So when he
walk away
from the game, when he walk away from the game, basically he's getting nothing. He's getting a thank you. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
They called him up for that last game, basically as an appreciation for how long he's had a passion for basketball. Someone in their G League affiliate, I don't know the true story, they probably called up to the LA Lakers and were like, look, we got a guy down here playing with the Legends. He's been in the D League, changed G League for 10 years. This guy loves basketball. He's a great teammate. He's always on time. He loves his family. Give him a shot to go up and play in the Staples Center one night, please.
Exactly.
And that's probably what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what was so beautiful about that is that when he got up there to Staples Center, he showed out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, he went up there and made Sports Center.
Mm-hmm.
That man was making shot after shot after shot. And what that proves to me, to the general public, is if you can play, you can play.
Mm-hmm.
There's guys in the NBA that probably couldn't play in Europe, and there's guys in Europe that could probably dominate in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what is that
right
going to
now? Go ahead.
What is that going to do for this young man when he retired and hang up his shoes and he's no longer playing? He's sitting on the front porch talking to his grandchildren about that night that he had and actually got into the game and produced. What is that going to do for him?
He can tell every one of his kids, pull up your YouTube on your cell phone right now. You want to see Pop?
Yeah.
You want to see Pop get busy?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the difference between guys like Terry and myself, like, me playing in high school or Terry playing in college. We can't pull ourselves up and say, hey, man, like, check out this YouTube clip.
Yeah.
Today, with technology, man, that guy, 15 years from now, all that guy got to tell his grandkids, got a cell phone. Hey, click this right quick on YouTube. You want to see something, too? You want to see something funny? You want to see Pop get busy in the Staples Arena?
Mm-hmm.
That's all he got to do.
Yeah.
He had one thing that guy has that no one else can take from him is that great night he had with LA. I'll never forget when Luke Walton walked in the locker room and gave him the game ball.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be a great feeling for that dude because he has a passion for the game.
They made it all worthwhile.
I got to tell y'all that because my brief time with Charlotte, and I remember just before I got cut, we made that West Coast trip. Our first game was against Seattle. Second game was against Utah. Third game was against the Lakers. And the fourth game was against the Golden State Warriors. And I got to tell you, that Laker game, I scored 6 points. And those highlights are up on YouTube, buddy. So for every time you talk about my league, all you got to do is Google me. You'll see all 6 points, and it makes me an instant star. Because all I need is those highlights of my 6 points against the Lakers. I was scoring against Magic, and I was scoring against James Harden. So don't
Come on now.
tell me that, brother.
Come on now.
But that's what's so great about technology.
Mm-hmm.
Because technology helps us to go back. You know how many people have highlights and stuff from when they played, but they're on beta, VHS.
Yep.
They're on reel tape. They'll never find that reel tape again. That reel tape is gone, or it got broken up in a garage sale, or the VHS is somewhere and they can't find it. Me and some of my fraternity brothers, we had some awesome, I'm a Catholic, we had some awesome step shows in college. We can't find that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But these kids today, if they do a step show, man, they go right to YouTube and click and get to see all of it,
Exactly.
5, 6 to 10 years later. So, that guy on the Lakers, man, that was a great story. I'm glad somebody even made a comment about him. But his situation is a lot different than the undrafted pure, what I call the pure NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
The pure NBA player is a guy like Ishmael Smith, who got 3 years, $18 million from Detroit after playing on 9 teams.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. It does. Let me change gears. Can I change gears for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and all these players like that actually coming to the forefront right now and making all these comments about the game today and what they did and what should they do that, or are they disrespecting the young players today?
In what capacity? It depends on what capacity they're giving the comments in.
Well, they're pretty much saying that they could.
Like, give me an example of what you think Scottie Pippen or Isaiah Thomas or guys like Dumars may say.
They can't play with us. They during the era when we played the game, where it was a real game, it was a real physical game. It was almost like playing football on the field. You weren't gonna just walk through it and do a layup. We weren't gonna let you do that. We would have taken your head off, or you'd be spitting your teeth out. You know, but the game has gotten so soft today. It's a totally different game. It's soft. It's watered down. What would you say about if they
I
make
think
comments like that?
You have to look at both sides of that and the pros and cons of it. Number one, they needed to clean the game up. Terry will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to, man, when I go back and look at one or two clips, the clip of Scottie Pippen getting clotheslined by Rodman.
Yes.
And the clip of Karl Malone breaking Isaiah Thomas's eye socket.
Mm.
Those two clips, to me, when I go back and watch them, there's no place in our game for that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There's just no place for it. So, okay, was it a rougher game, a tougher game? Did they allow more arm bar and hand checking? Yes. But then let's look at this. Look at today's athlete compared to some of the athletes back in the day when it comes to size, grace, and maneuverability, like LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would not want to see LeBron clotheslining somebody out of the air. He's just too strong.
Exactly.
I mean, when you see LeBron go to the basket and guys grab his shoulders and he pulls them like they're a piece of notebook paper,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you already know he's built different. That's a different type of dude. I wouldn't want to see him flagrantly fouling somebody and pushing them out of the air after they're airborne.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something we want to see in today's game. So the players today, we didn't see 7-foot guards like Kevin Durant back then. They had to clean the game up because the game is played different. The game is so different today, they thought about making the basket 11 feet years back. You heard about that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be a great basketball player like Will Chamberlain, who's also an unbelievably strong, quick, agile, and fast athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, maybe that's a topic for another day. How many guys today could have played back then, and how many guys back then could play today?
Yeah,
that would be a great topic.
That would be a great topic. That would be absolutely amazing. Just to do the comparison of the two, because you really don't have a lot. Now, I really feel like, and we talked about this a little bit, but I feel LeBron could play in any era because of his physical makeup. I don't think.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
LeBron could play in any era because of his physicality,
mm-hmm.
his athleticism, his explosiveness,
mm-hmm.
his IQ, his passing ability, and even though he got his jump shot, the 3-ball and all of that later, it is amazing for me now to watch him shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of his critics. I was one of the guys back in the day that was like, man, when is he going to close games?
Mm-hmm.
When is he going to hit jumpers to finish games? I was one of the guys that wanted to see him play like Jordan, but now I've learned to appreciate that LeBron is not a guy that plays like Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
They have two different playing styles. They don't play the game the same way. What LeBron is a Karl Malone that moves like Pippen.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's Karl Malone that moves like Pippen and pass like Stockton.
Wow.
And you can't do nothing about stopping him from going. When he dunked on that kid from Portland this year, I'm like, I'm
That was nasty.
Because that was embarrassing.
Yeah,
that was nasty.
That was nasty. That
was nasty.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, he's not a George. They don't play the same. But he is a Brahmo bull that's built like a brick outhouse, like, Karl Malone. He runs and moves like a deer like Scottie Pippen,
mm-hmm.
and he sees the whole court corner to corner like Stockton. And now he got a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do with that?
Now, let me ask you this question. Have there ever been a point when looking at Durant's game that you had a criticism of his game?
Yeah, I have plenty of criticisms of, you're going to have criticisms of every person's game,
mm-hmm.
okay? Everybody on offense can't be a great defender.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I don't like when people start saying he doesn't play defense. Well, the man is not a robot. Let's
mm-hmm.
look at LeBron. How is LeBron going to defend the best player for 4 quarters when he getting all your points, all your rebounds, all your passing? I mean, people are wanting Kevin Durant to be this great rebounder. Well, how he going to rebound? He just dropped 45. That ain't
mm-hmm.
enough.
Exactly.
Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the guy like Tony Allen, great defender.
Yeah.
The guy like Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley,
Mhm.
great defenders. The guy like the Davis brothers, Dale Davis, Anthony Davis with the Pistons. I mean, with the when they played the Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were the Indiana Pacers. Great defenders. They wasn't scoring 20.
Mm-hmm.
Dude had
Hey,
9
Kevin,
rebounds.
Kevin, can I put this in there first off? The
Go
answer,
ahead,
from my opinion about Durant and his defense or the criticism of the game. I got a greater appreciation for his game since he joined Golden State than when he was at OKC.
Okay.
Here's the reason. When he was at OKC, and rather when Harden was there or when he left and he was there having to play Westbrook, it was all about the offense in that system. They didn't care about defense. They just wanted to outscore people. All right? But Kevin Durant, when he went to Golden State, his game elevated even though he was already good because now there's an expectation. You play team ball and you play defense. You play together. And he adapted himself to play that style. And I'm going to tell you, I watched him. Kevin Durant is more than comfortable to play defense like anybody else. It was all about a mindset. Most offensive players don't want to play defense because it takes so much out of them to play both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean they don't have the ability. And to be quite honest with you, there were times where James Harden showed he could play defense once he put his mind to it. You know, so sometimes they get the criticism, not that they don't have the ability, it's because they don't put the effort in the area. But I can tell you, Durant proved a lot to me since joining the Golden State Warriors, that he is more than comfortable to guard some of the best players when he puts his mind to it. And of course, the system helps because they all play good team defense.
Let me say something to y'all, and
Right.
I'm gonna throw this out there, man. And this just from me, and I could be totally wrong, and y'all correct me if I am. If I were Durant, I would always, he got a championship, probably gonna win a few more before he walk away from the game. But I would always be incomplete for one reason and one reason only, and that is because I would always wonder, was I ever good enough to beat Golden State for a championship playing against them?
But that's not fair to him. Let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say that he shouldn't want to play on a championship level or caliber team?
No. I'm not saying.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying before he left.
Mm-hmm.
He left a situation where he probably knew it was impossible to win a championship.
Mm.
So what's wrong with him going somewhere where he can say, how about I lengthen my career? I'm going to just give you 5 factors. Number 1, I'm going to lengthen my career. Number 2, I'm going to have a lighter workload. So I'm going to be able to play more years, more money, more pension, more for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I don't ever have to put up with Russell Westbrook again. Number 4, Number 4, I get to go from a small market to the Bay Area, which is a much larger market.
Yes.
Than being out here with these cows and tornadoes in the middle of Oklahoma. And number 5, I'm going to get better coaching because Steve Kerr is going to let us rock and play within a system without being in a system. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Watch them play. They don't run anything. They run high side and sideline pick and rolls and rock.
Mm-hmm.
If Clay got it, he keeps it. If a guy shows, he passes it. If a guy helps, he passes it. If a guy shows, he drives it until the guy's going to show and then throw it to a lob or something with JaVale McGee. They all play the same. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and my boy Steph all play the same exact way. And then they insert some guy like Looney or Festus Ezeli or JaVale McGee or Andrew Bogut at the 5 and let's go. Let's rock.
Mm-hmm.
Then playing out there in a systematic way of playing at OKC, how you know that made Kevin Durant comfortable? So I just gave you 5 factors that if you were living in that same system, what would you do? Let me ask you that.
Well, I'm not blaming. My thing is this: I'm not blaming him for going forward and wanting to be, because you play the game because you want to win a championship. You want to be the best. But my thing is, I'm just saying for me, I would always have this thing in me. Could I could I have done anything to beat those guys? Because you got to admit now he came very close that one year.
Where would he have gone? Well, okay, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna follow James Harden to Houston? How do you know Houston had the cap space when they had just given Trevor Ariza all that money? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this,
I do.
This is what I want you to think about.
Mhm.
This is what I want you to think about when you think about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, number one, was Golden State really supposed to be that good? Is Golden State really a super team? Or is Golden State a great group of general managers and front office reps who figured out we know stuff before other people do? Okay, the Lakers are trying to figure out on the back end how to beat Golden State, but Golden State's front office depended on the front end to figure out how to beat everybody.
That's good.
You never looked at it that
That's
way.
good. That's good.
Hey, can I put something in perspective from the mindset of championship mindset? You with me?
Right.
Let's take
Go
Kenny
ahead.
Smith. Kenny Smith,
Yep.
champion in college, right? Played with the great Michael Jordan and that great team. Right? He played a number of years in the NBA.
He wasn't with that team. He didn't win it in college.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Blackman out there, right? Blackman. I'm saying, but you know he was part of that program,
That was
right?
Jimmy Black.
Yeah, Jimmy Black. That's what I said, Jimmy Black. I thought about that, but he came out of North Carolina. My point was I was making is Houston won 2 championships while Michael Jordan was on leave of absence, correct? But,
Right.
But when you talking about Kenny Smith, 2-time world champion, they mentioned his name when they talk about him. You know, Hall of Fame,
Yep.
2-time NBA champion. Don't nobody put no
True
asterisk next to them and say, hey, well, that was why Michael Jordan was on a Seattle.
Yeah.
Playing
You know,
baseball.
They just know they were a 2-time, they were a 2-time champion. And what I mentioned that for a reason. Kevin Durant ain't thinking about like, man, I wonder if I could have ever beat this team. Kevin Durant wanted to be a champion. And then not only that, he got double.
That's it.
He on a championship team that he enjoyed playing with, you know?
Right.
And so if anything
That's what it's
changes,
about me.
right, if anything
That's what it's about
changes
to
for
me.
him, right, if anything changes for him, I don't believe it'll be, can I beat this team? I believe if anything changes, it's all gonna come down to the legacy or the money. It's all about legacy and money, you know? Legacy is
Right.
tied up on how many championships you can win, and you know why he in Golden State, he's gonna win a lot of championships at this current stage. Anything after that is
Right.
gonna be
And he
about money.
also knows that he also knows, being a professional player, that the pieces of the puzzle will change drastically in the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you right now, because of salary cap considerations, Draymond Green or Klay Thompson, one or the other is gonna end up gone. There's no way they can keep both of them.
You mean this year?
You can't do it. Not this year.
Mhm.
When one of their contract years comes,
Mhm.
somebody gone. I don't know which one of them it's going to be, but the Golden State front office has to make a decision.
Now, which
It's
one would you
just
get rid
like-
of? Which one would you get rid of?
Okay, I would keep Klay. That's just my personal opinion. I love his three-point shooting. I love his versatility as a defender, and the fact that he's 6'7", he can rebound from time to time. I like Draymond's energy and all of that stuff, but he just doesn't make enough shots for me to want to keep. Klay Thompson has the NBA record for scoring 37 points in 1 quarter. I'm sorry, I'm not getting rid of nobody with that type of offensive firepower.
But Kevin, do you think do you think Draymond bringing that dog to the team though? To that particular team, he bring that dog.
I can add another dog. He's a good player.
Yes,
A
sir.
good player. But guess who else is a dog? David West. Guess who else is a dog? Sean Livingston. Guess who else is a dog? Iguodala when he's not injured. Look, man, the team, they're a team. And I like what Terry said, because Terry is telling you, when you in OKC and you see them give Serge Ibaka, see, this is what y'all forgot, that much money, and let James Harden go to Houston, you already know your front office is full of duds.
Yeah.
Duds. They have no clue what they doing. Serge Ibaka done been to 4 different teams since then. You gave him millions. He ended up in Orlando. Left Orlando, went up to Toronto. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You could have got rid of Serge Ibaka, said, look, he's unrestricted. We're not going to re-sign him. Let him go to Orlando and let them pick up the tab.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook together. Dude, I will never forget how bad they lowballed James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else that don't understand basketball was sitting around talking about, man, James Harden's stupid for not taking that much money. And then they saw how much money Houston gave, and everybody was cut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I making sense? Because I'm trying to get you to see
Mm-hmm.
the bigger perspective, and I want you to take your mind back to when Steph Curry left Davidson and nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
I want you to take your mind back to Klay Thompson coming out of Washington State, and you didn't even know he played there back then.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take your mind back to Draymond Green leaving Michigan State. Tom Izzo was a second rounder. Now, these guys get there, cultivate, culminate together. They get rid of your boy and keep Steph. And go back and look at the articles about how they talked about that front office when they kept Steph and got rid of Monte Ellis. Go back and look at the article.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody talking about that no more.
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant is like, look, I'm joining a winning franchise that was smart enough to not only draft Steph Curry 7th, but they were smart enough to get rid of Monte Ellis when they knew he was kind of dwindling, and they were smart enough to pick up Klay and Iggy and guys that people like Sean Livingston said wouldn't be that good. And they were also smart enough to have enough cap space to sign me. So guess where I'm going? San Francisco, baby.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different way to put a spin on it and look at it. I've had this argument with so many people on the internet. Man, the super teams ain't no super teams.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a super team, Steph Curry would have been the number 1 pick in the draft, and everybody would have known he was going to be a unanimous MVP. Klay Thompson would have been the number 1 pick, and everybody knew he dropped 37 and a quarter. Everybody would have known Draymond was the 3rd pick. He wasn't. He was 3rd pick in the 2nd round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just a different way to look at it. Hey, if I'm KD, I'm doing exactly what he did.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people, and I understand what you're saying and what you mean when you say that, but there's a lot of people that look at him as I'm trying to pick the right words here. Taking the softer the softer road, if that makes sense.
It was the so-called expert. It was the so-called expert that was criticizing him, and even the guys like Barkley and them criticized him because they say they would have never joined team with Jordan and all that kind of stuff. They wanted to beat Jordan and all that stuff. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Right.
So that's the ego. That's the ego speaking like somebody who had too much to drink. They're gonna say something that they wouldn't normally say unless they had that drink.
Mm-hmm.
These are guys that was some was sour grapes because they never got it. And then some who got it the way they got it and saying, man, you should have done it the way I did it. I think all of it is hogwash. Because when history will always show that Kevin Durant was a champion. And they're not going to look at how he got to be
great
champion. Not only that, I know some guys, let's talk about Clyde Drexler. Clyde Drexler, Hall of Famer, one of the top players in the league, during Michael Jordan's era, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he got his championship, who was he playing with?
Houston.
He wasn't a main cause of winning the championship, but he was on the team and he was on a twice again. But they ain't gonna criticize him for how he got his championship. He got his championship.
He got a championship.
Patrick Ewing stayed with the same franchise. And he started moving around. They didn't care. He's not a champion.
Mm-hmm.
So,
check this out,
Kevin Durant, let me say this point and you go ahead. Kevin Durant not only went to Golden State, but I will argue he is the reason why they won the last 2 championships.
Yep.
Because there were times where the rest of them guys were not getting it done, and Kevin Durant was back broken. at times where they
Yeah, he
need him
do.
to step up and do what he do.
Mhm.
I tell you, he didn't ride nobody's coattail. He actually stepped up and said, I'm
He
a
stepped up to the
two-time
plate.
back-to-back MVP or a fighter. That's not riding coattail. That's telling putting people on his back.
Right. That's a great way to put it. And I'm so glad you said it that way, because Kevin Durant is an unbelievable player. Just like, did you see in the game the game 3, when Kevin Durant hit that three, that deep three
Yeah.
to win the game?
Mm-hmm.
When he hit that shot,
You saw the look he had on his face? Did you see the look he had on his
yeah,
face?
he had to look like I'm the man. But this is what I want to say: you can't take away from who he is because of what other people do, and because of the way he transcended his career. There was people on the internet clowning LeBron, saying, "Look at LeBron for switching on that screen." Okay, I was one of the people like, "Why did he switch?" But that don't take away from LeBron's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't switch, because LeBron, switched off, and you got a guy over there guarding Kevin Durant out there in no man's land that don't know what's going to happen, and Durant shot a 3 right in the dude's face. Even if LeBron had been there, the reason I'm going to say this, he still would have made the shot.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Durant has the ability to go by you, so you got to back up and give him some room. You can't get up in his chest and crowd it, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
With his length and ball handling ability. And if you want to clown him, everybody can get on the internet every day and clown Kevin Durant for going to Golden State. Not one person has got on the internet yet and said, why did David West leave, take less money, go to San Antonio, not win a title, and then leave San Antonio and go there to get 2 rings? I ain't heard one person say that yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
David West got 2 rings by chilling and being like, yeah, KD, way to make the shots, bro. And ain't nobody talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not considered a superstar.
He's not considered the man.
That's right.
But your boy is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think people should stop doing that with KD. Give the man credit for who he is. Guys talk about Jordan, and start. Well, Jordan never had 15 assists in game 3 of the second round of Eastern Conference Finals. Making up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, look, dude could go.
So what if Carmelo in going to OKC, let's just say the what if, and Carmelo going to OKC like he did, and they got to the finals and somehow won it, what would have been said?
Right. The same. I'm gonna tell you what would have been said. I'm gonna tell you what would have said. Nothing. The same nothing that was said when LeBron James does a press conference and comes down here to South Beach with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade in his prime. And ain't nobody talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. He never hit a game winner in none of them playoff games. None of them. I remember Ray Allen.
Yeah.
I remember him losing to Jason Terry, the Jet, and Dirk Nowitzki. I remember Danny Green breaking an NBA Finals record for threes with LeBron right there losing.
Mm-hmm.
Taking my talent to South Beach.
Do you think that?
I don't like it when they criticize any of them because they all are in the business.
They should.
They're making business
Dude,
decisions.
LeBron is great. But LeBron is great, but that don't make Danny Green awful.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is great, but that don't make Dirk Nowitzki terrible. LeBron is great, but that don't make Danny Green coming off the bench or starting no different. You got to give they pros, man. Terry played up there. He can tell you it's different.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are freaks of nature, man.
Yes, they are.
Even the dudes you look at, you like, man, Iguodala normal. Man, Iguodala might come to some Pro-Am Summer League and drop 75 on somebody.
Wow.
It's that much of a difference from them and a regular college player. And I'm not exaggerating. These guys are special, man. They're special players. And you're talking about the best players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Nene coming off the bench for Houston, but he might be the best big man in Brazil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey, you know
nobody-
what, you're making a good point. Hey, think about the Olympics every 4 years. I ain't talking
Right.
about the ones that finish it and getting the gold, bronze, and silver. I'm talking about the last place person. The one that comes in
Right.
last place is the best that
Right.
country has to offer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at them like they're scrubs, but they are super athletes that you couldn't compete with, even though they finishing last in the Olympics.
And you remember, Raheem, we're gonna close now, but I'm gonna tell you this one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when the transformation was made with the Olympics, when the USA had the dream team,
Yeah.
beating people by 70,
Yeah.
80.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing you know, dudes are like, who in the world is this Paul Gasol dude?
Mm-hmm.
Who in the world is this Ginobili dude from Argentina? Who is this Nocioni guy giving us 40? See, you saw the transformation when it went from we beat everybody by 60 to now Nene and what's your boy, Landro Barbosa. Man, they got dudes in them other countries that started giving us work.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when you saw that the talent level went across the water and was coming back just as good. But this has been a great segment. I'm going to close today. Raheem, you're going to end it with prayer. And I want to thank all of you guys for listening in. And it was a great time to talk about some good basketball in the draft process.
Absolutely, absolutely. All hearts and minds are clear. Father God, we come before you on this day, thanking you for all that you have already done, Father God. Thank you for everything that you have done in our lives and the lives of everybody that's listening to the sounds of our voices and everything that you have done. And Father God, we want to thank you for giving us an opportunity on this day. Father God, thank you for giving us one more opportunity. Whatever we did wrong yesterday, Father God, you've given us another opportunity to get it right. And for that, we thank you, Father God. We love you and we adore you, and we certainly place nothing in and above you. In this matchless name, in the matchless name of Jesus that we say and that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
You have a question?
Yeah. Do you think the playoffs would have been different if the Cavaliers didn't trade Kyrie?
Didn't trade Kyrie? Yeah, it would have been a lot different. They probably would have won.
Wow. On that
Kyrie is
note,
a special player.
on that note is
Special player.
exactly. Go ahead, Kevin.
Now, I'm just saying he's a
Hey.
special player, but we don't know if Kyrie would have gotten injured because of what happened with his knee. So there's a lot of what ifs out here. The bottom line is nobody can touch Golden State right now.
Exactly.
You got anything here?
No, I'm good, man. Hey, look, I appreciate you calling in, BJ. Thank you all the listeners coming in. And of course, Raheem and Kevin. Man, I love you guys, man.
Hey, love you as
Continue
well.
to grow the program, man.
Yeah,
We
love
want
you
to get
too,
more
man.
people to check in, man. Let's continue to be a blessing to others, man.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Make sure you send me BJ's information, man.
Likewise,
So I can send that stuff home.
I owe him $25, so make sure I'm able to give it to him. I owe him $25, so I want to make sure I send it to him. So the sooner the better. I got to give his money.
No doubt.
Okay.
Keep learning, little bro.
Exactly.
All right, y'all take care.
Well, listen, you're about to exit How the Ball Bounces. Before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day. See you next week on
All right.
How
Bye-bye.
the Ball
All right.
Bounces.
Bless you.